Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha Wright, discussing with you about damaged hair. So a lot of people think damaged hair must be cut off, it's no good, and they've given up hope. Well, I don't do that. There are a lot of people who don't want to cut off their hair, even if it's damaged. Let's watch to see what we can do. So this is a magnified version of a strand of hair that is terribly damaged. Now, damaged hair is not always the result of chemicals. Damaged hair can be the result of excessive tugging, braiding, using the wrong combs, using the wrong products, using the wrong tools, and using the wrong techniques. So we can't blame everything on chemicals. However, in this video, chemicals are the culprit. So at the top, we see a healthy cuticle layer that's closed, and at the bottom, we see a damaged cuticle layer that's open. So the cuticle layers look like tiny fish scales, and they lay tight when the hair is healthy, and when those cuticle scales are damaged, they open up and the hair looks like a bad piece of wood that's buckled and swollen from water damage. But never fear, protein is near. So here is the guest hair that's compromised from improper use of chemicals, not following the manufacturer's instructions, and putting other chemicals on the hair, such as a rinse that should not be used on white hair by any stretch of the imagination. So here we can see what happens when you do that. So rinses, while they may seem friendly, they are not really good for all white hair, especially if it's chemically altered. So we see the color is fading a lot. We're starting to see the underlying pigment be revealed. We can also see where the color had been overlapped and we applied too much. And I'm actually putting on some protein, is what you see me applying to her hair, to begin to protect the hair so that we can, preserve the length, because again, she really doesn't want to cut her hair off. I did not promise her any super results, so I told her we would try this to see what would happen. I believe I could save the bulk of her hair, but I could not guarantee her the best results. The color, believe it or not, the semi-color that you squeeze out the bottle is really more of the culprit of what's going on with her hair, in addition to using the wrong comb, in addition to using too much conditioners. So here we can see the power of conditioners. She was not using any protein. We can see what happened with the semi-permanent color. A lot of people think that because you squeeze out the bottle, it's relatively safe, but as you can see, it's not. So I'm going to use some protein to help begin the process of saving the bulk of her hair. We are not going to try to remove the color, simply because you can't without compromising all of the hair, which again, she wants to keep as much as she can. So we've agreed that we will grow the color out and snip it every time she comes in to get her service redone. Okay, so that's going to be the goal here, is to keep the bulk of her hair, and then as you can see, we're doing that. So here is the outer protein layer called cuticle, and as you can see, it does look like shingles on the roof or like fish scales. So if we can protect the bulk of this, we can protect the second layer. However, when the outer layer is compromised, then the second layer is definitely at risk, which is what has happened in her case. So this time I'm going to use an even more powerful protein with a lower pH that's going to help artificially give her some protein at the cortex level, which is where her texture and strength and color is located. So as you can see here with this product, it has artificial cuticle protein, and it has some quality protein that can be absorbed into the second layer, and we see the artificial fibers there, and we can see her hair is pretty much intact, thus making it safe for the second step of this process. And again, that was her hair before, and if I could magnify her hair, it would look something like that. So here are the results of what's left, and the product could not save all of the hair, but remember, I was forthright. I did tell her the truth that I would probably have to cut some of her hair, but not all of her hair off. So this is why you want to invest in a quality cosmetologist who does quality haircuts and not just chop your hair off. And this here is a magnified version of split ends, and so we are not trying to repair every single split end, but we are trying to repair as much as we can with the intent, again, to not cut off all her hair. And we're going to grow the color out, so it was a small compromise. The secret here, again, would be this bottle of protein. So I used 2 different types of protein, and you can see the results. So this is how it's going down. That has to come off because it will not curl when I go to use the booster. So again, all of her hair will not curl, but the bulk of it will. And we are talking about a small compromise. So some ends will be just a little streaky, but we want to give that protein some time to get to that second layer, a few days, and the ends will begin to curl back. But for the most part, the bulk of her hair will most certainly curl. But again, I could not tell her how much. I just used the word the bulk. And if it doesn't curl as much as we would like, then the other compromise would be to cut it off. So again, right now, the goal is to protect the cuticle layer, which will protect the cortex using the right proteins that are formulated for the cuticle and the cortex. So here I am spraying some more on top, again, just to secure the hair during the boosting process so that she could get, have a safe curl. So my heart is beating. And I'm hoping that everything is going to be okay here. Fingers crossed. Heartbeat. Okay, guys, sometimes you gotta have fun at work. Listen to a little bit of old school to make things just a little bit better. So here we have the towel is on her hair, and so now we are about to begin the second process, or the third rather, depending on how you want to look at it. And so what we're going to do now is to begin to neutralize. So right now we are playing the pH game. This is the goal here, to neutralize and get her ready, and that is the neutralizing solution. And I am using the Carefree Curl Perm. And this is, there are several, but this is the one that I like. I like Carefree Curl and I like Wave Nouveau. I am applying my neutralizer solution from the middle of the rod and then allowing the neutralizer to spread out evenly. Sometimes people start on the ends and so on and so forth, but the manufacturer wants you to start applying that neutralizer in the middle of the rod. So there it is. So again, the goal here is to play this pH game. Now, the pH game is some serious business. People don't like to believe in the pH game, but it's real because adjusting the pH has a lot to do with whether the hair will stay on the hair or off, which is why I beg you guys.
So most people will refer to it as the potential of hydrogen or the power of hydrogen in any type of substance. The pH scale goes from a number 1 up to a number 14, and this is going to be the rating of how much hydrogen is actually inside any substance. So the basis of the entire pH scale is water. So right in the middle, the neutral number 7, right between 1 and 14, is water. So if you're leaning down towards the lower numbers between 6 and 1, that's going to be an acidic substance. Whereas if you're above 7, from 8 to 14, you're going to be dealing with an alkaline substance, also known as a base. Here's the one tricky part about the pH scale. When you move down in the pH scale and you go lower in number, that actually means you are higher in hydrogen. So it's actually a little bit backwards than what you might think. So lower in number, higher in hydrogen, but it also means lower in hydroxide. Now I want you guys to remember that word because we're going to touch back on it later. So if we're going down in number, more hydrogen. We're going up in number, less hydrogen, more hydroxide. Okay, so now visually you guys can see the pH scale from 1 to 14 with 7 being in the middle. Now keep in mind when you go from a 7 to a 6 or from a 5 to a 4, it might only seem like you're going down or up one increment, but it actually is in 10 times exponential increments. So that means something with an acidic level of 5 is actually going to be 10 times more acidic than something that's a level of 6. So even moving up or down one increment actually causes a big change chemically.
All right, there you have it. That's the seriousness of the pH scale and how the pH affects the hair. And this is why we ask you guys to please follow the manufacturer's instructions and directions. So now I am playing the pH game again by using a towel to absorb all of the water out of the hair so that I can see how this is going to turn out, because again, it's imperative that we want to give her the best results, because the goal again was really to keep her hair on her head, and the compromise again was that her ends would be a little compromised and we're going to grow the color out, but for the most part the hair should curl back up and begin her journey to a healthy head of hair. And again, the goal is to use the right products, the right tools, and the right techniques. So I'm just taking out a few rods here so you guys can see a little curl is taking place, but those ends are, okay. All right, ta-da. And let's see what these results are looking like. And I believe you all will be impressed because I was. Hey, there you go. Keep it curly with Carefree Curl. Woo-hoo, curl activator and moisturizer too. So I'm applying an ample amount of moisturizer per the manufacturer's instructions. I am going to send her home with Deca Plus satin tame to help with those ends and her regrowth as her hair grows out. She's going to return to me within 4 to 6 weeks. I'm going to call her in 2 days to see how her hair is doing. I'm using the right comb to blend out the parts without compromising the curls or the ends anymore. And I think this is looking pretty nice. We kept the bulk of her hair. She now has carefree curls and low maintenance hairstyles. And her hair is still natural. It's just altered. So she's learned a valuable lesson, and I've had fun, and I think this is not bad. So in a few days, those ends are going to curl up a little bit more, but so far she's good. This was my magic sauce, and I will put that in the description. And again, this was her hair before, and this is her hair afterwards, the bulk of it, with the exception of those ends. So chemicals get a bad rap, but most of the time it's really because the user don't follow the instructions, and sometimes people are not trained and they don't respect the pH or the science of hair, but I do. Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited. I forgot. I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention, at night it is imperative that you know what? Bam! You gotta put your processing cap on. So at night, yeah, with the perm, the curly perm, you still have to sleep in the processing cap. And I send my guest home with a bunch of these. Look, she rocking them gloves, y'all. She ain't messing around with this corona. I got mad respect for her. No, I'm just kidding. But no, so yeah, you have to put the processing cap on to ensure that the hair will not dry out. So it may seem a little soul glowish, but that's all right. At least she kept her hair, and I kept my word. And you guys know how much I love hair as much as I love people. Or is it I love people as much as I love hair? Either way it goes, I think my young lady here is very happy, and we're on the road here to recovery. And I'll do some follow-up so you guys can see. Okay, if you like this video here, please, do the usual. Subscribe to my channel, hit the thumbs up. I appreciate you. By the way, don't forget, I have this cool Amazon store with all my products. I really do love my job. I love you guys for supporting me. We do have ebook spring specials for both my books, What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon, and for your children or the big kid in you, Curly Hair Adventures. So please visit your ebook platforms to make your purchase today. The Wright hair care products, the kind you can't go wrong with. Alright, you want to know why? Because we're talking about solutions for all hair types. That's what it's all about. Don't forget to check out my podcast. It has been ranked by FeedSpot as one of the top 25 hairstylist podcasts to listen to in 2021. And don't forget to check me out on all the social media platforms. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Peace, love, and hair. And if you ain't got no hair, just rub a beautiful bald head.